Hello everyone, in this video we will understand the structure of C program. In that we will walk through the various sections of a typical C program in detail, and we will take a closer look at each section using a practical example. Without further ado, let's get started. Understanding the structure of a programming language is important because it provides a roadmap for organizing our code. It tells us where to place statements, variables, functions, and other elements within a program. It not only helps us understand the language better, but also improves our ability to write code without errors. The basic structure of a C program is divided into 6 parts. Each serves a specific purpose in program's execution. Now let's understand the roles and importance of each section in detail. First, documentation. This section includes comments or documentation that explains the purpose, usage, and any important information about the program. So this section includes the program's description, name, creation date, and time. It is specified at the start of the program in the form of comments. The single-line comments are denoted by 2 forward slashes, while the multi-line comments are enclosed within forward slash asterisk, which denote the beginning of the multi-line comment, and asterisk forward slash to denote the end. Here we have used multi-line comments. Next we have preprocessor section. This section consists of preprocessor directives, which are instructions for preprocessor. The preprocessor is a component of C compiler that processes the source code before actual compilation. It performs tasks such as including header files, replacing macros with their definitions, and conditional compilations based on directives like if defined, if not defined, and end if, etc. This process prepares the source code for compilation by the main compiler. The preprocessor directive starts with a hash symbol. Here hash include stdio.h is a preprocessor directive that includes the content of the standard input-output header file. Next, definition section. This section includes various elements that enhance code clarity and flexibility. It basically includes constants, macros, data structures, enum declarations, and type definitions. Constants are defined using hash define directive. They provide fixed values throughout the program to promote code readability and maintainability. Macros are also created with hash define directive. It allows the creation of code snippets or expressions that can be reused throughout the program. They enhance code modularity by encapsulating commonly used logic or expressions into a single identifier. Next, data structures. Data structures are declared using struct keyword. They organize related data into a custom data types, which promotes encapsulation and abstraction. Enum declarations are created using enum keyword. They represent a set of named integer constants, enhancing code expressiveness and readability. Type definitions are established with typedef keyword. They create aliases for existing data types, which simplifies complex type declarations and improves code clarity and maintainability. In simple terms, hash define allows us to define macros, which are like shortcuts for constants or code snippets. We usually use uppercase letters for constants defined with hash define macro. Remember, hash define statements do not need a semicolon at the end. And in this example, constants max underscore size pi are defined using hash define, and macros square max are defined using hash define. The data structure point is declared using struct. Enum declaration color is declared using enum. The type definition complex number is created using typedef. And next section is global declaration. Here global variables and functions that are used across multiple functions or files within a program are declared. The user-defined functions are also declared in this part. The variables and functions declared in this section can be used anywhere in the program. Next up, main function. Here is where the program execution starts. The main function typically calls other functions or procedures to perform specific tasks. It consists of 2 parts, declaration part and execution part. The declaration part is where all variables are declared, whereas execution part begins and ends with curly brackets. It contains the code that will be executed first when the program runs. And finally, we have subprograms section. The subprogram section typically includes user-defined functions, function declarations, function definitions, and function calls. Subprograms are the functions or procedures that perform specific tasks within a program. They are typically defined after the main function and are called when needed. So when you call a function from main, the program jumps to that function and starts executing its code. Once the function finishes its task and reaches a return statement, it goes back to main to continue execution from where it left off. This process of jumping from one function to another and returning to main makes the function in C powerful. And thus it allows you to organize your code into smaller manageable parts, making it easier to read, write, and maintain. Now let's see an example which demonstrates these sections. Now look at the example. Comments at the beginning of the file provide information about the file, author, and brief description of the program's purpose. And this is documentation section. And there is no explicit linking directives in the code. However, the hash include stdio.h directive indirectly links the standard input-output library to the program. And this is preprocessor section or linking section. The hash define pi 3.14159 directive defines a constant pi. And this part is definition section. The function prototype int calculate sum int a int b serves as a global declaration informing the compiler about the function calculate sum before its actual definition. Inside the main function, variables num1 and num2 are declared to store input numbers. This part is global declaration. The main function serves as the entry point of the program. It prompts the user to enter two numbers, calculates their sum using calculate sum function, multiplies the result by pi, and prints the final result. And this part is main function section. The calculate sum function is defined after the main function. It takes two integers as input parameters and returns their sum. And this is subprograms section. Overall, the program demonstrates the structure of a typical C program, including documentation, preprocessor directives, global declaration, the main function, and subprogram definitions and calls. Now let's run this code. I enter two numbers, 10 and 20. The program calculates their sum, which is 30, and multiplies it by pi value, which is resulting in the output 94.25.